Hi, I'm the Tabletop teacher, and in this video we'll take a look at the Pulse Wave standard attack power. After covering the basics, we'll explore a couple of ways to maximize the use of Pulse Wave, and finally, I'll showcase some characters that have interesting variants of Pulse Wave. Pulse Wave is identified by a yellow background on the attack slot of the dial. It is a very powerful attack, and put simply, it essentially ignores damage reducing and attack evading powers, and it can hit a whole lot of characters, including yours. I find it helps to imagine the Pulse Wave as an uncontrollable burst of energy emanating from the attacker that can hit everybody around that character. You don't choose whether or not you target one or more characters with your Pulse Wave. Whichever character is in the area of effect is a target if a line of fire can be drawn. So, most of the time, it's best to make sure none of your characters are in the vicinity before you use Pulse Wave. Perhaps you can have them flee before the attack, or make sure the attack resolves before moving your characters in that area. Pulse Wave is a ranged combat action, but unlike usual ranged combat actions, you are allowed to target an adjacent character, even without being a sharpshooter or anything. Furthermore, the number of targets on the base of the character is of no importance here. The area of effect is half your character's range, and the Pulse Wave will target every character you can draw a line of fire to in this area. But the Pulse Wave's lines of fire are extra special. They ignore all game effects apart from walls, blocking, and elevated terrain, and all game effects possessed or used by the characters that have these lines of fire drawn to them are ignored as well. Here's what that means. Apollo has a range of 8, meaning that the area of effect of his Pulse Wave is 4. Jenny Quantum has stealth, and she's hiding in hindering terrain. The Pulse Wave's line of fire ignores hindering terrain, so the line of fire can be drawn. Lobo is behind Doctor, but this line of fire ignores characters. Starfire has shape change, and Doctor has energy shield deflection. None of that matters against a Pulse Wave. Again, a Pulse Wave's lines of fire ignore everything but walls, blocking terrain, and elevated terrain, so Swift is the only one here that's safe from the Pulse Wave. Everyone else, friend or foe, has a line of fire drawn to them by Apollo's Pulse Wave, and none of their attack evading or damage reducing powers, no team ability, or any other game effect will work against the Pulse Wave. A single attack roll is made, and the attack total is compared to every character's defense. Every hit character will get 1 click of damage. Don't forget, toughness, invulnerability, impervious, super senses, probability control, none of these work for characters inside the area of effect. If there's only one line of fire that can be drawn in the area of effect, then the attacker's Pulse Wave deals its full damage to that single opposing character. Considering some characters that have Pulse Wave sometimes have high damage values, this attack can be devastating. Now, because Pulse Wave is a ranged combat action, this means you can combine it with Running Shot. You cannot combine it with Charge because that requires a close combat action, and you can't combine it with Ranged Combat Expert or Hypersonic Speed either because those powers let your character make a ranged combat attack, not be given a ranged combat action. The wording is important here. The Running Shot Pulse Wave combo is pretty awesome, but you can actually kick it up a notch by having a character with telekinesis on your team. Magneto can use telekinesis to move War Machine from here to there. And then War Machine can make his Running Shot ending in a Pulse Wave. Ouch. Now, what can you do against those Pulse Wavers? Well, Barrier is certainly a good power to have against them, but might not be enough to prevent a Running Shot Pulse Wave combo. Having a character that can use probability control from outside the area of effect can help, but if you know you're going to get hit by a Pulse Wave, you might as well make sure to give your opponent 2 targets. That way, each character only takes 1 click of damage. Some characters have Pulse Wave near or on their last click, a last gasp kind of thing. Zatarra is actually knocked out when he chooses to use his variant of Pulse Wave. He doesn't hurt friendly characters when doing so, and deals 4 damage to every hit opposing character instead of the usual 1. This can be worth the sacrifice. Star-Lord and Brimstone share a similar variant of Pulse Wave. They can both target an unoccupied square within range and line of fire, and use Pulse Wave as if they occupied that square, adding range to an already powerful attack. Star-Lord can do this only once per game, but it's a free action. Brimstone's throwing fireballs special power is present on 40% of his dial. I really like Brimstone. Pied Piper's Pulse Wave variant is especially impressive for such a low-cost character. Characters hit by his Pulse Wave modify their damage values by -1 until your next turn, so that's already good. But on top of that, he can immediately use Mind Control as a free action on all the hit opposing characters, and it's considered a close combat attack to make all of this legal. One of my all-time pulse-waving favorites has to be Validus from the Superman and the Legion of Superheroes set. At the beginning of your turn, there's a 50-50 chance he can use Pulse Wave as a free action, with a lock damage value of 2, ignoring friendly characters. Plus, he's got solid attack values to make this happen. He's a giant, amazing figure. Solaris also has a very cool variant of Pulse Wave, which I explained in the Willpower video. You should check it out. So who's your favorite Pulse Waver? Share your strategies in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Tabletop Teacher, and beware the Pulse Wave.